Today, Rockstar Games finally dropped the extended look for GTA 6. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to unpick that extended look and take a look at maybe some hidden details and possible features that could be coming on November 19th. Let's get straight into it. But as you can see, as we'll go in, we'll see a very detailed interior. You can see here as well, there's a lot of variation here now on the NPCs, the customization of the NPCs. It looks a lot more intentional compared to GTA 5, where the NPCs look very bland and very generic, and you'll find a lot of duplicates of them. Here, obviously this is a specific mission section as well, but here you can see all of these NPCs have all very specific clothing, very specific outfits on, and even the hairstyles as well. I mean, there was such a variation here that wasn't seen in GTA 5. So again, it's very nice to see a nice wide variety of customization. And as you can see in that bottom right hand corner next to my activate Windows sign, great. As you can see there clearly, they've introduced again the if you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, you know this is the way that you interact with NPCs there. You can interact with specific ones, and then there are options you're given. Obviously we're in a mission here, so he's asking questions, but there's usually like an antagonize or a greet option there too. So that's very, very nice to see from Rockstar Games implementing that into obviously GTA 6. Now obviously these elevators are very cool as well, and we had working elevators in GTA 5, but I guess this is a nice way, an easy way for Rockstar to handle sort of loading screens, if you will, and obviously deload and reload interiors, which makes it a lot more, hopefully, accessible in GTA 6. We'll get to see a lot more interiors. I think that's what a big complaint a lot of people had about GTA 5 was there wasn't enough interiors, which I also agree with. It's really good to see, even from this beginning shot here, that we've got nice customized, not customizable, sorry, but it's really good to see that we've got good interiors and a wide variety hopefully coming. And again, as you can see again in the bottom right, interacting with animals as well. Also, look, you can pet them and scold them. Again, these were options as well you could do in Red Dead Redemption 2, and also you can study them, so you can add them into your log. I assume they probably have an option for a log where you can get to see the information about these animals. So obviously that could also mean there is hunting in GTA 6, which could be quite interesting. I know I did actually like the hunting aspect of Red Dead Redemption 2, so if you can hunt in GTA 6, that might also be exciting for some people. So shortly after petting that dog, and again we get to see the interaction with the dog there, you get to see that nice angelic little smiley on the right of your screen. Very similar to the honor system, but obviously it is not exactly like that. After the extended look got revealed and obviously showcased, I took some research onto Twitter and found out that it is actually a criminal profiling system. So not exactly honor based as it was in Red Dead Redemption 2. And again, a very clear shot here of what seems to be, a illegal drug operation going on. Now, if you play GTA 5 online, of course, and you own some of the businesses, legal businesses you have, one of the operational businesses you can have is a cocaine lockup. So again, we've got the similar kind of aspect here, but you can see, again, here in this shot of the trailer, it's a lot more detailed here. The environment itself is amazing. I mean, look, you can really tell here the kind of area it's supposed to be very run down. Drug trafficking going on through this area and processing and whatnot. And again, it's very cool to see the extreme amount of detail Rockstar have put into the interior of some of these buildings. And here we get a clear shot of Raymond, I believe. Obviously, seems to be a key character we're working with inside the storyline. Again, seems to be, from my guess, early on in the story. So again, you can really see here in this particular frame. I mean, look at the detail in the hair. I mean, you have never seen a hair like that on a GTA game. The tattoos, the chains. He's even got gold grills in his mouth. Again, just an extreme upgrade on the customization compared to what we've seen in GTA 5. So as you can see here, we get the first look on the extended look of a police officer, I assume, part of maybe again that's that corrupt cop organization that work with the Mexican gang. And if you look really closely at that shotgun, you can see again there's a lot of customization going on here. I mean, you've got a nice reflex sight there, what I see in flashlight, and again these things were in GTA 5. But you can just see the detail and obviously the lengths they've gone to, Rockstar, to make sure it looks as nice as possible. And now we get our first real look at the UI. So you can see there in the top left, we've got a health bar, and the second bar is actually the focus bar. So it's part of Jason's and also Lucia's abilities. They will both have that kind of bar there. We can also see in the top right, you've got the weapon, as you know, and obviously the ammunition and your reserve ammunition in there at the top right also. We've got the reticle in the middle there, just to obviously know where you're aiming. And obviously, I forgot to mention this earlier, but of course you can see interactables come up on your screen as you go near them or past them. So for example there, it's clear, click triangle, pick up the bag, whatnot. And then further on, later down the line, We also get to see here where you get to equip weapons off the floor, so rather than just running over and picking them up like you would do in GTA 5, for example, or you actually have to click the button, similar again to Red Dead Redemption 2. And there you go, you can see the name of that shotgun there, the Moreland 850 shotgun. And towards the right of the screen there, next to Jason, you can see a nice TV screen there with camera footage. Now, I'm not sure if that's live footage, like what's actually happening around the building is happening in that footage, or if it's just kind of a pre-recorded, pre-made thing for the game, for the asset. But if it is a live camera footage on that screen, again, that is really sick. That's a really nice feature by Rockstar to add that if it is live footage on the cameras, again, it just adds a little bit more realism to the game. Hopefully they are live. And also, again, on the top right, you can see again a nice coloured shotgun icon. And at this point in the extended look, we get to see a character run a policeman through a wall. Now, I'm not sure, again, if this means that the environments will be destructible in the game. Hopefully that's what it means. Obviously, I'm not expecting every environment to be destructible like this. I wouldn't expect it to be fully destructible like a Rainbow Six Siege, for example, but if there is some kind of destructibility to environments, that would be cool. But again, as you can see there, that man from earlier charging a policeman through the wall. And at this part of the extended gameplay reveal, we get to see Jason shoot some cops up as they try to escape the building. And we get to see a nice close-up here. Well, not exactly nice, but a close-up here of a few of the kills. Again, I'm not sure if this will be exactly implemented properly into just normal gameplay, or if it's mission specific, but either way, it's still a nice feature to see in the game. And obviously here we get a look at, and finally a name drop of the guy that they're talking about, him being a man called Mendez. Seems to be a part of this corrupt police division, whether he's the leader of it or just some sort of, again, some kind of like general or lackey, we're not too sure. So here again we get to see another variation of an interior in the same building. Of course, it looks very different to what we saw earlier in the trap house, basically. But yeah, very cool. Again, very detailed. You get to see all of these kind of items, the shopping there on the right, all of these groceries, the AC on the left that looks like he's about to push out. And again, it's just a very interesting detail that we get to see a lot of this nice interior. This is very, very nice. Okay, so here we go. We get to see a little bit of free mode gameplay here. Now, we've got two options here to when they try to hijack the car. You've got Slim Jim and Smash Window. Obviously, this pertains to two different approaches to how they want to steal. Smash Window obviously being the loud approach. Slim Jim being the more stealthy and quieter approach, I assume. It looks really cool. It's nice to see. Again, you've got two approaches there, and I guess that links to your criminal profile. And there also you can see a little skill check. So it's obviously if you're going to go the stealthier route, they're going to make it harder for you in some aspects, and this is one of the aspects that I guess they'll use to make it harder for you to hijack cars. But obviously, in the long run, it's easier for you to escape, I guess, in certain aspects. And also, we get to see a nice little lizard there running across the parking lot. So again, a bit more variety in the animals we get to see. So obviously on the fridge here we get to see again some parts, a bit more personality of Jason and Lucia, and so there's some notes there: no more snacking, hydrate and drink that water, keep smiling, you were strong. And that no more snacking is very interesting actually, because it links again to that mechanic in the game where what you eat and how much you actually train in the game affects your body of your character, and also their performance in the game, so potentially how long they can run for, their health potentially as well. We've got recognizable logos there, the Fleeca Bank logo, you've got Long Bank as well. So some things again we've already known, we've already seen before. And then obviously we get to see here a nice interaction here, that you get to interact with a lot of different things in the apartment itself. That you can turn on the lights, turn off the lights. And very interestingly here, you can see, obviously a very detailed fridge, but you can choose between different snacks and different drinks, I assume. And we can see there as well, next to the Blitz Berry Smoothie, and there's a Blitz Green Smoothie there, I believe. We've got different icons there, so what I assume is probably a stamina icon maybe, and obviously that focus icon from earlier. So there's drinks in this game that you must be able to create or buy that help to either improve these stats or recover them in some aspects maybe. Now this is quite a good frame as it shows off a lot of potentially what could be in the more rural parts of the city, of Vice City. I can see a lot more animals here: squirrels, ducks, deer, bears. Again, some of this stuff was in GTA 5, the next-gen versions, of course, and the PC version. But we get to see a lot more variety here, and there's a lot more variety in the environments as well. It's a very bright, very green environment here. The main idea here, again, is also the fact that Rockstar have also created, again, a variety of different TV shows and advertisements that parody real life, and obviously that make light and fun of things that might be seeing in real life. But yeah, very cool, again. Again, just a more detailed shot here of the animals and maybe the environments we'll be seeing. Maybe is that a moose on the left or a deer? I'm not too sure. Some hogs there in the middle, or boars. A squirrel jumping there, as you can see. We've got some rabbits there, and also a lot of plant life too. So maybe again we'll be able to pick those plants out and make things with them. Now, one really cool detail that I really like is the fact that the map on the bottom left, well, firstly, it looks like kind of like a phone map, which is quite cool again, and it's got that color to it compared to again the GTA 5 map in next gen, which was very grayscaled. It looks very dull. It's practical, but it's very boring. We've got a very nice 3D map there on the bottom left, which is quite sick and quite nice to see. A welcome change. And again, it's a lot more bright, a lot more vibrant. And here we get to see convertible cars again. So just like before, previous games and previous titles. And it seems to be actually now you can finally drive whilst taking the roof down, which is quite good. Quite a welcome change compared to, again, GTA 5 where you have to sit still and let the roof go down. And on the left there, you can see a car. Looks to be a Buffalo. STX maybe, again from GTA 5. So a lot of these cars that are coming into GTA Online in the recent patches are definitely going to make their way into GTA 6, and that's a welcome addition. And we get to see here a nice clear view of a bus, which again might not be interesting at first glance, but from what I know and from what I've seen, from what I've read, and again I'll show it on screen as well. Thanks to SynthPotato on Twitter for this. Obviously I'll link anybody that I've used the information. I'll link it down in the description so you can take a look at it. But apparently, according to them, the fast travel options are going to be buses and taxis, maybe even trains. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, there you go. Nice, get to see a nice clear view there of one of the buses. So we'll circle back to this a little later in the gameplay reveal. But this might link to the social media aspect of the game, where you're able to see these kind of events happen in the actual world of Vice City, but also on your phone on the social media. And this could be one of those parts. Again, another aspect of it here, you can see two people fighting there on the street, the woman on their phone recording that. So that, again, that could be something you see in the world and also online on the social media on GTA 6, which will be quite cool. And again, a very nice shot here of Jason eating out of a crisp packet. R1 there to eat, as you can see on the bottom right. So again, we've got very interactable food and items. A lot more interactivity compared to GTA 5, where if you take out a snack from the snack menu, you kind of just, put it towards your mouth and then just throw it. You get to actually see these actions, which is quite cool. And in this particular part, we get to see some hand-to-hand combat, which is quite sick, and also some more gameplay here. So there you go, as you can see. A random event here again, looks quite cool. Now what's really cool here is we get to see some one-handed shooting with a two-handed weapon as well, which is quite interesting, and it's quite cool again to see the animations to that. And it's nice to know that we can be able to hold something and shoot at the same time, rather than just using a pistol. We get to see a homemade wrestling ring here at the back, so that could be one of the activities you could do in your free play outside of missions, or maybe this could be also a part of a mission. But it's quite sick here to see a homemade wrestling ring and potentially a wrestling promotion, which is quite cool. Again, a staple of GTA 5 here, robbing an armored van. That seems to be back in the game, which is also quite sick. Again, another very small option there at the bottom right, but in certain, I guess, scenarios or certain parts of the game, you'll get to hold hands between the two characters. Talked about online, and that obviously links to the relationship mechanic. Again, we've seen there seems to be certain actions and things you can do together with Jason and Lucia if they're together in the game, and certain things you do, whether you go on dates or if you ignore texts or whatnot, can affect the relationship outcomes. It can make your relationship better, it can make your relationship worse, and that seems to have an impact also on the storyline going forward, which is quite cool. And you get to see a bit more customization here in this one particular frame. Obviously Lucia's hair looks a lot different here. So again, and obviously Jason looks a bit different there too with his clothing, and obviously he's got a hat on as well now. Again, a lot more customization between these two characters, which is very nice to see. Now in this particular section, obviously we can tell here, it's pretty well known by now, but you can play missions as Jason and Lucia, and obviously there'll be missions where you have to separate, and potentially you can either choose whether to probably play as Jason or Lucia for a particular mission, or Jason does one part of a mission while Lucia does another. Again, it's a very common thing in GTA 5 where you get to switch between different characters. Same idea here, I guess. Again, you get a little bit of the sight line here at the back, a little bit of the skyline. We get to see potentially a buzzard, I believe that might be there on the right. An airplane at the top left, an airplane on the top right too, just next to that building. And we get to see Jason and Lucia here stick up now a diner. We get to see here also they rob maybe a convenience store here, sorry, or a gas station. Not too sure exactly what it is. But again, we get a bit more detail here. So on the top right of the screen, you can see there actually is now 6 stars just like they used to be in GTA 4, I believe. So again, a stronger wanted level there. I assume obviously if you get 6 stars, you'll be getting a lot more worse opposition than just police to get on you. And you can see many different icons there now. They're all in red, and there's each different one indicates how the police can track you. So for example, camera, obviously, so camera spotted you. There's 2 people on an icon there, so it means that Jason and Lucia are together there. There's that clothes hanger icon, so obviously that means whatever clothing you were in when you committed the crime, they can identify you through that. Again, that singular person there probably just means this is the singular person. So whether if you were, for example, playing either Jason or Lucia separately, and it was that came up, then obviously they know you've done that crime. And also the weapon you're using too. So I assume that also means maybe you'll be able to hide your weapons, maybe in the trunk of a car, or maybe you'll be able to throw your weapons or whatnot. But again, the interior of this particular convenience store looks so detailed. It looks so much nicer when you compare it to a GTA 5 interior. It's insane, the level of detail. And here we get to see Jason, you know, just like attack the cashier. Must have been trying to fight back against Jason in a liquor store. Again, they're probably trying to rob this. A different store compared to what we've seen again from the last 2. And here we get to see a clear representation of what you might be facing whilst robbing some of these stores. So, you know, it would just be careful when you're going to go out there, if you're going to go out there and rob some stores in GTA 6, because you never know what's going to happen, and obviously you might end up getting shot up. We get to see some of the interior here of the car, and it looks, again, very detailed, extremely detailed. Again, if you compare this to the interiors of the GTA 5 cars, it's a lot better. It looks a lot more detailed. You get to see a lot more of the dials there, a lot more of the buttons. It's just amazing, the detail, the level of detail they've gone into. So this frame here is during the police chase, part of the extended look. Again, these icons on the top right, the wanted level on the top right, the gun icon on the top right too. And again, that red icon there at the top, particularly the car one, so again, they can track your vehicles now also. So if you've used a particular vehicle, you might have to abandon it and find a different one to, again, try and evade the cops. Additionally, you can see that gun, the attachments on it, again, are a bit different. Instead of a normal stock, it's kind of got a buffer tube there. So again, maybe there's a bit more deeper customization in terms of what kind of attachments you can put on your gun, how it affects maybe the recoil, the ammo type, potentially. And what you might have noticed, actually, is on the bottom left, it doesn't show the police location like it does in GTA 5. So again, it's making it a bit more difficult for you to escape the cops, but, you know, you have to use your eyes now, I guess, a bit more. You have to be a bit more logical and a bit more thoughtful about how you do certain things, which is very good. To be honest with you, it's a change I like to see. Some people won't like it, but to be honest with you, if you can't handle this change, to be honest with you, you're probably just brain rotted, if I'm honest. So again, this is when the gameplay switches to Lucia here, and we get to see a bit more of her driving gameplay. Just wanted to pause it on this particular moment, because on the left there, you can see obviously there's a lickety split ice cream parlor, and it looks to seem like it might have another interior there, so maybe another shop you can go into. Again, if that's the case, it's very cool. You'll be able to enter that, I assume probably for dates, or maybe just on your own free time in the free mode. Something I should have mentioned earlier also is the fact that you can actually use assault rifles outside of a window now, and it's not just limited to SMGs or pistols, which seems to be that's a very positive change for me. Now we're here, we see Lucia throw a Molotov at the vehicle and burn it, I assume now also to get rid of the evidence. And now also, you can see on the top right, you've lost that red car icon, and the stars have also gone red, so that indicates there that you're losing your wanted level. And obviously I assume the more of those red icons you lose, the quicker and easier it is for you to escape that wanted level. So again, you can see, although the stars aren't white anymore, they're red, so that probably again indicates that the police are still searching for you. As you can see, there are 2 police vehicles ahead. Just like I said earlier, you can't see them on the map, so you're gonna have to be very careful here when you're trying to escape the police. So here, just another frame here, what I assume is Bayside, based on what Lucia called it. Another method of transportation here. Obviously there are cars, we know there are bikes in the game. Also now we've got electric scooters, so there we go. Now this is very, very cool here. We seem to have a very nice swampy environment. Again, we know this game is based on Florida. So we've got a very swampy environment here. We've got a boat here as well, hovercraft, which looks very, very sick. You can see there are some animals in the water, and it just looks amazing, to be honest with you. The water looks so clear, and it looks so realistic. Like I don't know what else to say about it. Here we get to see another activity you can do. So we get to see Jason here throwing a basketball. So another side activity you may be able to do on outside of missions. So scuba diving is confirmed to be back in the game as well. Again, a large variety of animals, aquatic life as well. As you can see, there's some manta rays up there, or stingrays. I'm not quite sure what they're called, but it's quite cool. Again, the environment down here is also very, very cool. some more free mode aspect here. So again, we talked earlier about it, but just again to be more specific here, you get to work out as your character as well, so which probably increases your strength stats, I assume, maybe your stamina as well. And again, the choices you make outside of missions, of course, impact your character. That might negatively affect you going forward in missions, so it probably is best to make sure you're maintaining the health of your character. We get to see Jason diving in here into the water, which is quite cool, and we get to see some dolphins in the background as well. Just thought I should point that out. Again, it looks very, very nice. Again, look at the environment there, the beach on the right. Seems to be some writing in the sand maybe on the right there. It just looks really, really cool. And we've got some more manual modes of transportation here. So we've got kayaking. Obviously, we know we have jet skis and boats, but we've also got kayaking as well. So that's quite cool. So there seems to be a real actual racetrack, just like GTA San Andreas, which is quite sick. Seems to be some more stock car kind of racing here, or motorsports, which is really, really nice to see. A variation of vehicles there with liveries and sponsors. It all looks really sick. And now we get a really, really, really nice look at some of the UI here. So we can see very, very clearly here. Now, the weapon wheel here on the main middle of the screen, unarmed. You've got binoculars so you see further. Your pistol, a couple more slots. On the top left there, again, we've got the health, I assume stamina, and again your focus bar. Bottom left, seems to be some health items, maybe a major health item and a minor health item. On the top right, we can see two different caches there. So 700, I assume that's in the wallet, which is probably on your person, on your actual person. And then that 15,000 there is obviously, I assume, part of your bank account, bank limit, which again is quite sick. So you have to be very careful with your money here. If you're not transferring it to your bank account in the game and you die, you might lose all of it, which will obviously be unfortunate. So make sure you're being careful there. And just like Red Dead 2 as well, sorry, should mention, you've got your weapons wheel. And you've also got your items wheel too. So again, this helps you maybe with disguises, if you want to change your clothes. You've got your face mask there, you've got hats, glasses, other things. You can see at the bottom right there, it says wear style. So you can wear that face mask either down or up, I assume, in different ways, have it around your neck, or you can just take it off fully. Now, what's really interesting about this shot is Lucia hides her pistol behind her person, which is quite good. And I guess it shows that you can be, again, a bit more quieter in your approach. I mean, it's not exactly the quietest approach, is this NPCs recognize what she's doing, but it seems to be the more subtle approach. If you're trying to go in and rob something, your character might automatically put it behind them, or maybe you have to click a button, and they do that. But yeah, again, makes it feel a lot more realistic. So we get to see Jason and Lucia here stick up a jewelry store. Jason in the background having a standoff with one of the bodyguards or security detail. Lucia fighting with potentially just a bystander there, which is quite interesting. There seems to be a more high-end area of the city. You can see on the right there as well, you've got that devil face, a bit more angry looking. So because they've done that on the loud approach, potentially it means that their criminal profile is showing them being a lot more aggressive and a lot more louder as criminals rather than being very professional. Additionally, you've got the top right there also, again back with the wanted level. Those stars are blacked out this time, which must mean that the cops are on their way. So again here, a reminder of what we are looking to see on the social media. Now, obviously this is probably part of a mission. You can see the chat on the right, the live 51k, which is quite interesting, quite funny. You know, the social media aspect of GTA 6, but also on the bottom left there, we can see on the map. And what looks to be obviously the bottom there next to the north symbol is the chop shop icon, or the, I guess not Los Santos Customs for this one, it'd be a different name. You can see a bar icon there too, just to probably let you know where you can go in terms for, again, for free mode. And then we've got a home icon, so a safe house icon, like usual. And also a mission icon, I believe. It seems to say, it says MC, don't know which character that could be. And there seems to be a small L on there, so that must indicate that that's a Lucia only mission, which is quite cool. And so that you can differentiate between which missions are for Jason, which missions are for Lucia, maybe potentially which missions have both. And you get to see, Jason and Lucia hanging out on the beach here again. So again, this is potentially a free mode activity you could do to strengthen their relationship. We get to see a practice range here. So kind of like the ammunition practice range. I guess this might help with shooting stats if they're in the game and they're involved. We get to see here on this frame some dirt road racing, which is quite cool. It's nice to see that the races are all back and there's a variation of them. There's track races, there's dirt races, which is nice to see. And as you get to see here, obviously this is just Lucia jumping off of a building and skydiving, but we know now how amazing this looks. As we watch this, it's just amazing to see. It's just amazing to see. And the seamless transition between the two characters there. Now, what's really interesting about this frame, other than the fact that it's the airport, which is quite nice to see, is the fact that there's a returning character here, potentially from GTA 5, I believe. Valentina. She was introduced in the Money Fronts DLC for GTA 5 Online. She seems to be returning in GTA 6, which will be interesting to see what her role is. Again, just another still frame here, but just a very, very nice interior, completely different again to what we've seen previously in the other parts of the video. It looks very cool to see. Again, it's part of another mission, I assume, from the story mode. So we get to see the ability here for Jason and also Lucia. They share the same ability. It's sort of like the Deadeye from Red Dead Redemption 2 and Michael's ability from GTA 5. You can see here there's red selections here and yellow selections, so probably for maybe lethal and non-lethal, depending on what you want to do. So for example, there you can see if you shoot them in the head or the heart there as well, they're the red spots. But then if you shoot them maybe in the arm or the hand or the knee, so if if you shoot them in the arm or the hand or the knee, it might incapacitate or disarm the person you're fighting against, and that might get them to stop fighting. So there potentially is two different options here in terms of the ways you can fight. Now this is probably mission specific, but we get to see here a little bit of a QTE here of Lucia, struggling against this person, and that triangle button there, so she can use her heal as a weapon, which I'm not going to show you because obviously it's bloody and I don't want to get the video taken down. But yeah, we get to see a bit more environmental use of weapons here, which is quite cool. We see right at the very end of the gameplay trailer, Lucia gets tackled down the elevator shaft. Now, obviously, it cuts, which is just classic from Rockstar, leaving us on a cliffhanger there. So also, we don't know what happens in that story part, but it's quite scary. You don't know what's going to happen there. And yeah, it's just like Rockstar to leave us on a cliffhanger. But the extended look was just astonishing. I mean, I was gobsmacked by some of the things that we witnessed to. Again, just some nice wide shots of the city here, very detailed, very vibrant at night. It looks really, really cool. It's gonna be sick to explore on November 19th. So potentially another activity here you can do in your free mode, fishing. Quite cool to see. Again, just another beautiful wide shot of the city here during the sunset maybe, or sunrise. I think it's a sunrise, I'm not sure. It looks really nice. It looks really atmospheric. You can see all these cars on the freeway there. There's some plane and a helicopter in the air. It just looks beautiful. This game just looks so beautiful. And that was the extended look. Now, just some more gameplay reminders here, just to take a look at, some highlights, some ideas. Again, this is from SynthPotato, somebody I follow on Twitter, content creator, it's quite reliable. Some highlights of the game, just so we can take a look at them. Again, Rockstar says the scale of the game is like anything they've made before. The map's twice as big as GTA 5's and 3 times bigger than Red Dead Redemption 2's map. There's no more auto aim, which is brilliant. Actually, I really like the fact that that change is really nice. Vice City itself, so just the city part, is twice the size of Los Santos, which is sick. The biggest difference compared to GTA 5 and 6 is that the GTA 6 constantly forces the player to make decisions, and it has to be thoughtful. So we were talking about that earlier, and apparently those decisions carry a lot more consequences than they do in previous GTA games. It's Rockstar trying to make people think more carefully about their criminal acts rather than just going out there and going guns blazing, which is good. Again, I like that change. As we were talking about earlier, the criminal profile system links to those little emojis on the right. Having a low criminal profile doesn't mean you're playing wrong. It just means that you're more professional in your criminal actions, which is quite interesting. Again, they have their own dedicated menu tab, which is good to know, and it can be permanently ruined after specific actions, which is very interesting to see. They have a relationship bar that can be influenced on how they treat each other through your own actions. So whether, again, you ignore each other, ignore the texts, or don't go out on dates enough. Again, we've got that focus ability we talked about earlier. It's similar to Deadeye, it slows the time down and it highlights those enemy weak points, but also vehicle weak points too, which is very interesting to see. It says cars do require fueling, but apparently it's not as tedious. Now, if you saw some of the leaks, which unfortunately I did, you've seen how that process works. Now, that could be an old build of the game, which is, I assume, is what it is. So it could be changed a little bit, but it doesn't look too tedious to me. From what I saw from the leaks, unfortunately, I saw them, which is annoying. But it doesn't look too tedious to me, and actually, again, it makes it a lot more interesting, and yet you have to plan your kind of actions a lot more now that cars require fuel. Again, we've talked about this, so your carrying can be lost after being arrested, and it has to be put in an ATM, otherwise, you just lose your money. Sorry. There are fences, so just like in Red Dead 2, where you can sell valuables for money. The driving, and it looked like this in the extended look as well, looks a lot heavier compared to GTA 5, similar to GTA 4's almost, which is good. To be fair, I much prefer the driving in GTA 4 compared to GTA 5. Again, like we've talked about, police no longer appear on the minimap. You have to look for them, which is good, And at 6 stars, they search for you across the whole map rather than just a designated area, which again is very interesting. So you're gonna have to be very careful about if you do get 6 stars and you do escape. Police will still be looking for you, and they are smarter than GTA 5, and it says that they can intentionally shoot your tires, which could be something very, very scary to go through. And again, also we've talked about potentially it contains a full social media system, and you have obviously a health system in terms of going to the gym, or you can get fat if you really want to do that. And like we've talked about, buses and taxis can be used for fast travel. I hope you're just excited for GTA 6 as much as I am. I can't wait for November 19th. I'm hoping for some more details before the game comes out. Maybe a little bit more gameplay would be nice, or just any details really would be fantastic. But if you're just as excited as I am for this game, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on the GTA 6 extended look. Let me know what you think about the trailer. Let me know what you think might be happening in the story, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.